Well, hi. Coming to you live from my laptop because I kind of wanted to do something different, I guess. So I want to talk about like how to actually like stop caring about what people think of you because honestly, like I am a recovered people pleaser, and it took me a long time to really understand like how to actually do that. My name's City. I was the annoying friend. I was the helpless friend for a long time. I had like really severe attachment issues. I low key felt like I had BPD. I had like so many thoughts going on in my mind all the time that I couldn't handle. And so I would kind of like project that onto people. And everywhere I went, I was like fighting for people to like care about me or like me. And so I'm a recovering people pleaser because I've taken a bit of a path in my life where it's more spiritual. So I'm like pursuing like how to be like love in the world. And also, it's not about being really a good person because it doesn't exist. It's really just about being having an open heart and representing like an open mind and an open heart. Anyways, well, I think I said that twice, but how to stop actually caring if people like you or not really stems from the idea of like, do you even like yourself? Like, do you like how you're acting, like what you're doing, and who you're being is really important because there's a deficit between, there's this idea that, there's nothing wrong with us, which is true. And so it's like, there is nothing wrong with you, but then you're also exhibiting behavior that causes harm to yourself and others. When you're a people pleaser, you're only ever going to destroy yourself. Like, because you're putting yourself at the expense of the other people's opinions. Meanwhile, it's not that people only care about themselves, it's just that you're overextending yourself and it's creating this energy that they feel like that they're doing you a favor by like including you or being nice to you. And so what that deficit really looks like, ooh, is you're always like reaching out to like help people, like, oh, let me do this for you, let me be this, let me be kind for you, and you expect that back. You expect people to give that back to you because you think that that will bring you the clarity that you're seeking or the love that you're seeking. Meanwhile, all you're doing is like build like you're grilling nothing burgers, because the truth is that people don't owe you anything, and you don't owe anyone else anything. When you're working a job or when you're in school or when you're in a group of friends, it's not about being needed or necessary. The thing about connection and the thing about friendships is that it's a wave of experience. You're connecting with other parts of the human race, of yourself, of expressions of like, the divine, you could say that we are. And it's about wanting to be around someone because you like them for them. And so when you're creating this energy of like neediness and codependency, that's why you feel so trapped and constructed into this nature of like wanting to save people and also being saved. It's like a Cinderella complex, but in real life. And the interesting thing about real life is that it plays by different rules than stories. And while there may be people that you see online only that tell you stories of specific ways that you can save yourself from codependency, or that you can somehow become like a high value woman, or that someone will love you and will rescue you from your life. that you're going to find the right group of friends, that you're going to find the right person that's going to change you. You don't fucking want that. You want somebody that wants to be with you and accepts you for who you are. You don't want to change yourself to and like put yourself at the doormat of other people, because those people will only ever treat you like a doormat. It's not their fault. You lay down gracefully for them to walk upon. And so when I talk about changing your behavior, that's not changing who you, it's not necessarily changing who you are, but your behavior is a reflection of your being. So something that I've learned through like my path is it's embodiment versus contextualizing. And so what that looks like, embodiment, it's when you feel like you shouldn't be hanging out with someone, you say no. When somebody asks you to do something and you don't want to do it and you feel this no in your body, it's a no. And so when you're saying yes, when your body is like tense and upset, the body is has an innate intelligence to it. It knows more often than not what you don't. And it sucks. I wish that we could all just be like really helpful, kind, considerate people. And I'll also say this, I'm not like I'm separating myself from the victim perpetrator cycle, but like I'm not just like a victim of like being too nice and like overbearing. Like, I've been the bitch, I've been nonchalant, I've ghosted people too. Because when you're in that cycle, you are both. You are perpetrator and victim. You can think of so many ways that you have hurt other people just as you've been hurt. But you only choose to look at the ways that people have treated you, and you forget that everything in this life is a reflection, except for cases of extreme abuse. That's a totally different story. That is something that I think is traumatic and painful and terrible, but it exists in and of itself as a painful, traumatic experience that leads you to your path. And I will always hold on to that. And I have so much compassion for the world because my journey has been all about reconnecting with my body and myself after experiencing sexual trauma in my life and navigating what that will look like for me in the future. I want to date someone, especially as a trans person. It's been difficult for me, especially as someone who had codependency issues, because it's not so much that I still struggle with it. Like, that's not a conscious thing, but I do have semblances of that energy that still rise up. Because what BPD is, and it's very simple to me, my experience with BPD is always a deficit between the internal and external worlds. So you've built up this egregore inside of you, this servitor. So whenever you don't get that validation from the outside world, you freak out and have a full body meltdown while also not listening to your internal body. And also, you let your emotions rule your life. And I still feel very intensely. But when you can feel those emotions, and this is powerful, when you can feel those emotions all the way through without doing a single thing, when you can sit there in acceptance of that deep, deep pain, you're free and you don't have to act on it. Because what is it going to do when you act on it? You're going to do something that makes you feel guilty. I used to self harm. I used to, and I still struggle with bulimia and anorexia because it's a control thing for me. I want to, if I can't, if, and I accepted that I couldn't control the outside world, but I wanted to control my body and I wanted to control my mind. So I tried to control my thoughts for almost a year. And then I finally realized that it was just about accepting that they were there. And also, like, controlling your emotions is more so just feeling them and not doing a single thing about them. It's not about submitting to them. And also remembering that there are tools and practices that you can do to help mitigate the damage. One of the things that really helped me navigate the emotional extremities of BPD, borderline symptoms, or any sort of personality necessity, because you know that there's a way out. And I think that we're all convinced that there's no way out just because of the projections that we see online. And I really want to sit here and be a pillar of the example that it's not a forever thing. And I think that one of the main experiences that really got me out of it was I lost all of my close friends last year. Like I still have really close friends, but like I lost my whole group of friends that I'd had for 10 years. I like fell in love for the first time, like, or what I thought was love. You know, it was like a love at first sight, really crazy psycho thing. You know, I fully accept that it was way over bounds. Like, you know, I obsessed over this random person that I barely knew, but the feeling was there. And the thing about feelings is that feelings are facts, but feelings don't dictate your reality. And so when you have a negative feeling because someone looked at you funny, or you're just feeling the vibes are off, you could say that you're psychic and that you're reading people, but you also have to understand that that could just be coming from you, from an anxiety that's stemming from your chest and your heart. And so with BPD and like with those thoughts and with the self sabotage, we also go into another sphere of reality. I've noticed this intently. You become a different person. You see and feel yourself slipping. But it comes to a point where you have to take responsibility for yourself. It's only a personality. Your personality is not your life. Personality is the thing that we're taught to cultivate as humans. But the truth of the personality is that it's a tool and it's an expression of our spirit, like our essence. You know, whether you believe it or not, the soul comes to earth and experiences life as a human. And so we are in the human body, in the human realm, and our soul is imprinted as, so like my name's City, and so my spirit, my essence is City, you know, and we forget that we're not the personality. And if I could even go so far as to let you know that you're not your body, and you're not your mind, and you're not your emotions. And that may feel painful to you. And 99% of people don't do that. 99, something like that. Like a very high percentage of people won't admit that to themselves. Even extremely spiritual people, even extremely spiritual teachers, they don't talk about that. And like this isn't even talked about in psychology, which is where all of us go the first time that we're trying to decipher what to do about this BPD thing. I went to therapy and it didn't fucking work. It didn't help me because I was just talking about it and talking about it, and I still felt the same way. I just wanted it to be over. I just wanted to be free. I wanted to dissolve the bindings that were keeping me attached to these people and to these emotions and to these thoughts. And it really wasn't until I started fucking meditating. And you know, it's not so much that you read the Bible, but there's so many other teachings, and there's so many other ways of being on this planet, and there's so much that you don't know. There's so much that it's not readily available for us because we forget that there is a whole other reality that we can't see, hear, feel, experience physically. And so when we struggle with this disabling disorder, we think that the outside is going to give us what we want from the inside. Genuinely, it's true. And here's the thing, like, you're still going to fall in love one day. You're not broken. You have a soulmate. Like, we all come, like, everyone on earth has a fucking soulmate, bro. Everyone. That is true. You know, we experience duality for a reason. The two meets and remembers that they're back to one again. And that's what the Lover's tarot card represents as well. It represents unity. And that's what love is, it's unity. And the reason that they tell you don't look for love outside, but you can't ever handle that is because you think it's the same thing as making it from the inside. But guess what? When you make it from the inside, you are for certain going to find your soulmate. All you have to do is become the kind of person that you wish to see. And so what that means is fucking healing that trauma, girl. And you can be healed. You don't you're not you're looking for perfection, and you're not taking any responsibility for your life. You think that if you're going to pay for these therapy appointments or get on medication that that's going to fix you. But all that's happening is there's layers and layers of trauma that are stories that we tell ourselves from childhood that are causing these issues, as well as other deficits that we're experiencing in our reality. Over inundation of information on social media. We have, you know, we can't handle that there's pain happening somewhere else. We can't handle that someone that we like doesn't like us back. We're having sex with people that we don't love. You're fucking people. You're not making love either. My thing is I used to get really fucking drunk at like out and about, and I would hook up with people, and then it just also would get bad because I then it would just like filter into like other moments where I would just drink way too much. And it wasn't that I was an alcoholic, I just could not stop drinking, like out with people. I was addicted to the essence and the energy of other people. I loved other people and I loved getting to know them, but I was a fucking vampire. You might be a fucking vampire. But if you can't accept that, if you can't just be okay with that, if you can't be okay with being the bad guy, because let's face it, if you're watching this video, you might be the bad guy. You might be the negative one. You might be the one on the other side of the conflict. But conflict is conflict is many is double-sided. Like it's always both. And it's always everything. There's no and it's not about blaming the other person or yourself. And so I realized when I started starving that part of me that wanted that affirmation and that validation, my life significantly improved. Although I've been going through a lot of alone time, but it's been really incredibly healing. And yes, I have been around other fucking people and experienced that. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who are like, you only think you're healed because you're alone. Like, bitch, duh. Other people can be fucking crazy and intense and triggering, and that's part of it. That's part of the healing. But we need to give each other a fucking break. Sometimes you need to be alone for like 3 months. Maybe you're gonna be alone for a year. But once you're alone long enough, you realize that you don't need anyone else to give you that satisfaction. You can meet new people, and when you start loving yourself in your full authenticity in your aloneness, when you start wanting to have sex with yourself, when you start wanting to love yourself, when you look in the mirror and you're like, you know what, this bitch is tea. Because you're never going to get the validation that you need from other people. Although there are incredibly healing relationships, but I would never recommend, oh, you need it to be reflected back to you. No, you just need to become it for yourself and then it will easily be reflected back to you like times 10. And we also need to remember that we need to surrender to life as it is. And this is the biggest teaching. I feel like these teachings are everywhere, but we see them and we're like, yeah, that's so real. But then we don't do it. We don't do it because we like being sick. We like being fucked up. But in A Course of Miracles, you can ask to be healed. You can reach to the divine. You can reach to your higher self. And if you're not spiritual, girl, why why it's not that weird. It's because of the spiritual ego that we get pushed away from it. So I want to say, like, just ask to be healed. You can just ask yourself, I want to be healed. Ask how to do it. I can tell you all of the ways that I've done it, and objectively, I healed my childhood trauma through the chakras, which is what really helped me. I learned a lot about projections, reflections. I reached a higher level of spiritual consciousness, which was crazy, and I really wouldn't recommend that, honestly. You can do the healing without being forced to by the universe. I was forced to heal. I was forced. I was dragged to that. Because I was begging for it, but I would never do the work. So I got bonked over the head, and I was shown what I was going to do with my life and who I would become. If I didn't change, then I wouldn't get it. Then it wouldn't happen what I really wanted. And so, yeah, it's been really hard. And I lost everything in my life. Everything. I lost my apartment I loved. I lost all my friends. I lost all of my favorite clothes. I lost my cashmere coat that I really cared about. And I'm not materialistic, but that was a big symbol for me because I loved that coat. I haven't seen my mom in like a year. And yeah, but there's a way out. There's totally a way out. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't deserve and can't be healed. It's a matter of belief. Your beliefs don't create everything in your reality, but they create the way you see it. I believe in a friendly universe. I believe that things happen to have us have the best lives that we could possibly have. And I want to remind you that pain is for certain in this lifetime. Pain is for certain, as is pleasure, because they exist in the same context. They're the extremities of emotion, the most extreme emotions that you could feel that give you sensation. You will be loved, you will love yourself, you will be healed, you will be happy. And honestly, fuck happiness. Happiness doesn't matter. It's a fleeting feeling. You want perpetual joy. You can have shitty things happen to you and still be joyful because you know that the universe is looking out for you, dude. The universe wants us to be awake, conscious, happy, and healthy and rich. And I fully believe that, but you just have to do the work. This is there time time is a flow, time is a circle. So for every moment in time, there is a perfect time and place for something to happen. And there's also moments in time that we have to show up and do work. So you could work within that flow is where life lives. And I think that there's something beyond hope and fear. And what that is transformation, and it's the truth of our reality, which is isness. Like life is amazing, and we come here and we are here so temporarily, and I'm tired of seeing myself waste it, and I'm tired of seeing other people waste their lives wasting their time with bullshit. You don't deserve to be sick. You don't deserve to be unhappy. You don't deserve to hate your life. You don't deserve to hate your job. There is a law of divine compensation where if you recognize your unique gifts and share them, then you can reach higher states of awakening that have never been seen before. um and also there is like just a lot in this life that we still need to learn. And also remember, like, life is school. It just is. Like, if you look at it like school, then it's like way less like drama. Like, also, we have to stop gossiping about each other. That's all. Okay, I'm not editing this video. I'm just gonna post it like this.